Welcome to Collaborators, a video podcast that explores the art of songwriting and creativity and aims to inspire artists to get dirty. My name is Jake Decker, and I'm a singer-songwriter. Join me as I tour across the U.S. to share my music and learn from the artists I meet about their songs, their stories, and the wisdom they've gained along the way.
Throughout time, music has captured the heart and the soul of our collective lives. The highs and lows, celebrations and tragedies, love lost and found. It's all there in the songs. Songs that become threads woven in the fabric of our minds. In some ways, songs are windows to our souls, and throughout history, the intimate, magical relationship between the storyteller and the listener continue to capture the human spirit like no other form of communication. When the songwriter's good, we don't just listen. We live the life of the song with them. That's why songwriters, the storytellers and their songs are so important. They're part of us, reflections of the heart, windows to the soul, echoes of our minds. Thanks to all the songwriters who help us live life with more emotion, more feelings, and more awareness through their talents and their stories. Indeed, life is in the song.
All right, tell me about the hashtag life is in the song. Where did that come from?
Well, I think that, it goes back to I didn't actually come up with it until I came up here to the Red Clay in Duluth. But it goes back to my original desire to be in this business and to be doing what I'm doing, which goes back to the mid-'80s at the Trackside Tavern in Decatur. And having met and befriended a bunch of Atlanta songwriters, and it was sort of a hangout watering hole for them. It was really, story upon story upon story upon story that became song upon song upon song upon song, and it just, those songwriters that grabbed me, that jerked me on the ride with them. It's always something to do with a life moment, theirs or somebody else's. The ones that really grabbed me like that. So it just sort of evolved.
Well, I think that we have this mentality sometimes that we think all the great songs are just written, and we just think that, Chris Martin, he's just so good. He's just great. Magic just flows, which magic does flow, but we don't know what he did behind the scenes, like how many hours he spent. We have no clue, because all we see is the finished product. So that is a huge lie. I mean, it's so hard for us to just see the finished product and not realize that so many countless hours went into it. So I think that a lot of bad has to come out. Not that I'm an expert, but I have so many bad songs that have come out that came right before my best songs. So I mean, I would tell my students, if they're interested in writing, to just do it and to make it, put it in your schedule to do it. So yeah, so part of it is just showing up with the intention to write, and then the more you do it, you do get better at it.
You'll never have a bigger supporter and a bigger groundswell of energy to build a foundation than from your own gut and in your own heart and your own soul. And that's contagious. When they can take me and involve me so that I'm right there in the midst of what they're singing and talking about, that to me is a good song. And I think that can cross genres. It doesn't have to just be a folky thing or a country thing. I think it can, there's every genre of music where the songwriter has that ability to grab you and pull you in. And those are those successful ones, in my opinion. Even though it might not mean they make enough money to be out of the po house, they're still a successful songwriter. If you remember a song, you remember snippets, you remember the story behind it, you remember a part of the tune maybe, then that songwriter's accomplished something. That's one of the measures of success as a songwriter, that you have the ability to reach out to those people that are out there and connect with them.
For me, it's just been, I had to write to realize that I was like almost posing in my songs. It's almost like I had written these songs that weren't really me. So I think I'm performing so much better now because I actually really like, it's like these songs are actually part of me as opposed to my old songs. So I think that, and that has just come with writing more, doing it for a few years.
What advice would you give a new songwriter?
Write, practice, play, and then start over. Write, practice, play. You know, the requirements in terms of diligence and, you know, just self-discipline and drive and, you know, to me are just ultra demanding. And I think that a lot of young songwriters really have no clue. They may have a real talent to put some, you know, words on a piece of paper and turn it into music, but never in any way, shape, form, or fashion will they reach their potential without that kind of self-driving diligence and self-driving, you know, dedication and perseverance and just all those chemistry kind of personality traits that, you know, you don't necessarily relate to artistic endeavor, but it takes it, you know. And so I just always stress that, you know, just write your asses off. At the end of my days at Trackside, I was sharing a house with a woman named Kristen Hall. Phenomenal songwriter, great songwriter. Kristen, Kristen Hall, Hall. And you know, one of the things that amazed me about Kristen is that she would wake up in the morning, and she had a little keyboard, and you know, it was in her bedroom, and a guitar, and you know, and I would hear her every single day. She would wake up and write a song. I'd wake up and go take a pee. You know, she'd wake up and write a song. And every day she was so diligent at just, you know, no matter what happened the night before, no matter where she was, no matter what's going on, the first thing she did out of bed was grab her guitar or sit at that keyboard. And she was so good, you know, and her songs were so good. You know, but it was just that was the way she did it. It just, you know, that's when she knew she would find something that she could work on later if she just got up and did it. Boom.
Recently, I found that my songs are a lot more organic and genuinely me because I read this amazing book. Well, I haven't read the whole thing, but it's called The Artist's Way. And everyone should check that out if you're an artist, or even if you're not an artist and you just want to like create organically, not just like as a hobby. But it's about finding what it means to create for you in the most natural way possible. And so I started to just do these exercises in the morning called morning pages, and I would just write freely, just whatever came to my mind. And it was the most awesome, one of my friends recommended the book, and it was just the most awesome experience. And through doing that, I started realizing that I was really holding my own self back in my mind with the way that I was writing. And so I'm so grateful for that, for reading that and doing it, because my songs, I think, have started to have more meaning. I think that the listener can almost tell when you're listening to a song how real it is and how it's being communicated. And so I hope that my songs going forward, that will really come through.
Well, no matter where you fit on the wheel, you've got something to teach someone, and you can always learn from someone else. And you know, when I found this facility, it was like, ping, you know, it was perfect because it was a great little intimate theater, and then it had all this, you know, expanse downstairs where we could, you know, have a place where songwriters could collect, you know, collaborate, create, connect. There's a group of folks that I got to meet and got to know when they were very young. You know, starts with the Indigo Girls, you know, Emmy and Emily, moving into Shawn Mullins, moving into, you know, Shawn Mullins and Michelle Malone, that generation, moving into the next generation, which was Zach Brown and Jenny Nettles and Christian Bush and John Mayer, and those guys, moving into the next generation, and on and on and on. And those that I mentioned are all brilliant writers, and they all work their asses off. And what was the difference in them and their contemporaries, in terms of their contemporaries that didn't receive the kind of commercial success, whether as a performer or a writer, that that group did? I'll be honest with you, not a whole lot. Because even the ones that didn't reach that level of success, I guarantee you they were working their asses off, and I guarantee you they were talented, and I guarantee you that their desire and drive to be successful was just as much as those that did achieve the success. So it's really, it's like a, in my opinion, it's hard to pull out one little part of success and say this is the reason this person made it, because it's really the whole big picture. And I guarantee you there's not a person that gets to the next level that is not diligent, that isn't working their asses off, that isn't talented. You know, I mean, you don't get up there without having all that. So then it's just a matter of, you don't let the wheel turn without you being there with your finger in the spoke, you know, helping turn it. And you've got to be there and stay there. Some make it to the next level and some don't. It doesn't make the one that doesn't any less successful to me.
I believe that we're all meant to create in different capacities. So it doesn't have to be music or art or books or writing. It could be like starting a business, or like contributing in some way to life, you know. And I think that so many of us sort of lose that in societal norms that they're like forced upon us, you know, like things that we're told that we're supposed to do in ways that we're supposed to think. And I just think there's so much beauty in creating, and I think that we were actually created to create.
However many different personalities and philosophies you could write on a sheet of paper, well, there's one of those that is a songwriter. I mean, there's you know, it's one of everybody that writes songs. And I think the artistic value of having that kind of unique creativity, energy in a community is just, you know, it's hard to replace. You know, for me, songwriting is storytelling with music, and it's a type of media and a medium that can bridge all sorts of generations. And a lot of the songwriters that are my friends, that are a little bit older now, I met when they were very young and they were learning, and to watch them feed off each other and feed off their elder writers that they would hang out with and learn from. It's just, you know, it just always amazes me and thrills me when there's young writers. I love to see kids that are taking, you know, that God-given talent of that kind of art and turn it into something that can, you know, reach out and be a medium for other folks to connect.